What's up guys, the Titan build is back. Bungie had disabled an enhanced 1-2 punch and also some of the Titan exotics, and now everything is re-enabled and they changed a few things with the combo. So in this video I want to go over what the best new combo is for the 1-2 punch build, along with an extremely good build I've been running on Titan recently that is one of the best, if not the best ability builds in the entire game, and I absolutely love it. Right now my code error is 30% off for G Fuel. The link will be in the comments description. You can go ahead and click that. It'll take you over to their store, find something you like, and try it out. So everything is re-enabled, but they changed a few things. So looking at that, the enhanced 1-2 punch now no longer increases the duration of the perk. It just makes it so you have to hit less pellets per shot to proc the perk. So the timer is back down to the 1.2 seconds, the same as the normal 1-2 punch. But what it does now is it's a lot easier to hit and proc the perk from further away. But I'm not quite sure if that is worth the enhanced trait because you want to be in melee range anyways. So getting this enhanced is more or less pointless now. Unfortunately, that means you cannot pair 1-2 punch with Paragon Grease once again. You could for, about a day, but once again, you don't have enough time to pull off that combo. Another thing they changed is before, if you were in a bubble, it would be 3x melee damage, and with overshield it'd be 2x, and apparently that was some weird stacking going on with the bubble. So now being in a bubble or with an overshield are both just the 2x, and they do not stack in any way. So as long as you have your overshield or you're in a bubble, you'll be getting the full benefit of the 2x from the aspect. So now the best exotics to pair for the combo is going to be Synthoceps, which will be a 3x melee damage, which will be very passive as long as there's targets nearby. But the better one for the highest combo possible will be Wormgod Caress. So with that, with the full ×5 Burning Fist, it will now be a 7.5x melee damage increase, and obviously stacked with all the other stuff. A huge one I left out in my first video is a target being frozen. That will increase the melee damage by 2.31x, which we can do with the Stasis Sidearm, and that will work with 1-2 punch. The initial shot of the 1-2 punch does not unfreeze the target because it's so fast, and you still get the benefit with the shorter charge. Another melee increase we can do is Wells of Ion, which is when we pick up an Arc Well, our next melee will do increased damage. And since we're on Void, Overcharge Wellmaker will be the best way to get an Arc Well by finishing a combatant. So now with that, go ahead and pick up the Arc Well. We have 10 seconds to do our next melee, and that will be roughly a 1.3x, so a 30% increase. So now with all the stuff we can get Overshield, 1-2 punch, Wormgod, Stasis, Ions, and a debuff for a total of 175x damage to our melee, which is quite a lot. And the thing is, you can completely pull this off by yourself. So the way I do it is I get 4 melees to get ×4 Wormgod. While doing this, I have my overshield, and all the melee kills will refresh the timer on that overshield. You can also just put a bubble on the boss if the boss doesn't move and not have to worry about maintaining your overshield. But once you get your 4th melee, what I do is I throw my debuff grenade at the target while also freezing them with my sidearm. Then I get the 5th melee and instantly finish something. So you want like every enemy nearby to be ready to be finished. And when you do that, you have everything going and you just run at the boss, slide, shoot, melee, and yeah, it will result in almost 7 million damage on Carl, which is, just a little bit of damage. I mean, that's on one shot practically everything in the game outside of maybe like the new Vow of Disciple final boss. And the thing is, in a team setting, you can pull that off a lot easier. You can make one person apply the debuff, one person apply the stasis, one person create Arc Wells in a good spot for you, and make it so all you have to really do yourself is the melees, and it'll be a lot easier. So not only is the combo still working, it's still extremely strong and will one-shot practically everything in the game. But now moving on to one of the craziest Titan builds I've ever seen, the one I've been using a lot recently, and that's gonna be with Heart of Inmost Light, which is when you use an ability to empower the other ones, which means increased damage and faster regen. And this exotic got buffed, and it's a lot easier to tell what's going on now. So if you simply put down your barricade, for example, you see you get empowered grenade and melee for 10 seconds. If I throw my grenade, it will empower my barricade and once again my melee, so now my melee is 2x for 10 seconds. And every single time you use an ability, it will refresh the timer of the other 2. And we look at damage on Carl, the melee increase with ×2 will only be 20%. Then with the grenade, as you see, the damage on Carl is usually 3326. Now go ahead and get empowered ×2 with the grenade. You'll see the damage will now go up to 4489. So once again, the melee is going to be a 20%, while the grenade is going to be a 35% increase, which aren't the highest buffs ever, but that comboed with the regen buff to the abilities themselves, you'll be spamming these so fast. As you'll see with this build, it's actually crazy. The barricade also gets more hit points, which means it should last longer and be harder to break. I did try to test it without empowered and with empowered, and it's honestly not noticeable, but it should have a little bit more health to it and take a little bit longer to break. So just with this exotic alone, we already have a really good build going, just spamming our abilities. But when you combo this with mods in our subclass, it gets pretty crazy very quick. So we have suppression grenade on, which will be pretty important to the build, and we have the melee overshield aspect along with the volatile aspect. In our fragments of choice, the first one will be the Devour one, where we pick up an orb and proc Devour, which will give us instant full health and grenade energy on every single final blow. We have the Bloom fragment along with the grenade debuff one, and finally the last one will be Echo of Exchange, where we get grenade energy on melee final blows. And as we showed off in previous Titan build videos, once you have your overshield, every single melee is a void melee, which means it procs both volatile and the Bloom on kill. So just there alone, you already have a crazy accurate build with just your melee. But now we combo it with the mods. We have 1 Bountiful Wells, then 1 Elemental Ordnance, then 3 melee will makers. And with those alone, what will happen is when we use any melee, because they're all void melees with our overshield, we'll create 4 void elemental wells, and there is a slight cooldown. You can't just spam it like crazy, it's like every second or two. Then when we get kills with a grenade, we'll create 2 also. So we're creating elemental wells all over the place. And the other mods we have on to finish out the build, we have the energy vampirism, which will make it so when we hit something with our suppressor grenade or our short charge, we'll get energy back for our least charged ability. I have Devouring Depths to increase the damage of my super when I have Devour procced, which will be all the time. And for this, I'm using Sentinel Shield because the Banner Shield is a higher buff than the Bubble anyways. And we can also use the regular super for ad clear. Our next mod we have on is going to be on our gloves. I have 1 melee and 1 grenade kickstart because we'll be spamming both of them so often. And finally, on our boots, I have a similar setup going on with Innervation and Absolution. But as you'll see in this build, we practically only use our abilities, which we won't be creating orbs with. The only way we can create an orb is with Harmonic Siphon with a void weapon, but we practically only use that just to proc Devour, then go crazy with our abilities. So now with everything going on with the Heart of Inmost Light, yeah, you just get everything. And the weapons I'm using in this build are a 1-2 punch shotgun, just so if I get up to major that won't die from one of my abilities, I can just 1-2 punch him and he should die. Then for the really high health targets, I can still do the shorter charge combo. I have a void weapon on. You can use funnel web plus like parasite, funnel web plus G-horn, or we can do is run a rocket launcher. Then I have the new raid pulse, and I usually play with this combo on because as you'll see, you don't even use your weapons in this build practically at all. So I just have it on to mess around with it. So now between Heart of Inmost Light, our aspects and fragments, and all of our mods, you practically just put down your barricade to get the ×2 empowered for both your melee and grenade. And you just go around spamming both of them. Every melee is a void one, and you get your suppressor grenade so fast that there's times when you throw it, you have it back literally instantly. And yeah, every single ability applies volatile, and then they explode on death because of the Bloom fragment. So just constant void explosions everywhere, and the fastest uptime on your abilities probably ever in any build. I mean, it's crazy how fast you can just get everything with this build. You literally don't even have to shoot your weapon once if you don't want to. Your grenade will just simply kill entire groups of enemies. 1 shorter charge, 1 melee will do the same. And yeah, I just don't know what else to say. Just watch the gameplay of how fast you simply get all of your abilities and how strong they are. It is absolutely crazy. So yeah, I think that's gonna be it for the commentary. Rest video will just be some strike gameplay. I'll try to link the demo loadout in the pinned comment. Once again, my code AIR is 30% off for G Fuel. Like usual, thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time.